Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Board of Commissioners meeting, Monday, March 21st, 2022. At 4:30, we had a work session. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And the first order of business is our invocation and pledge of allegiance. And I'll ask if Commissioner Jarvis would lead us in that this evening.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the honor and privilege of gathering here tonight to do the business of Currituck County. We ask for your wisdom to be in this room as we make decisions on behalf of our citizens. We also ask special traveling mercies for our Commissioner, Kitty Etheridge, who is traveling back to us this week, and special prayers for Commissioner Etheridge and healing that he may return to us also. We ask all of these in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Jarvis. The next item is our approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda, or can I get a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussions? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. And before we get into public comment, I'll just reiterate, Commissioner Jarvis did mention that we do have two commissioners out, Etheridge and Etheridge. Owen Etheridge has some medical issues going on, and just keep him in your prayers. He will not be here this evening, and Mary Kitty Etheridge, of course, the board approved her traveling last meeting. At this time, we have the public comment portion. This is the time for the citizens to come before this board, speak whatever you like, and you'll have uninterrupted time to address this board. We have no one signed up this evening. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to come before this board during public comment? Seeing none out there, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment portion of this and get into our commissioner's report. And this evening, I'll start with Selena Jarvis on the left.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge the loss of the community this past week with the passing of Miss Carolyn Waters. Carolyn was a advocate for so many people and so many causes. She worked with Hopeline. She worked with disabled children. She worked with at-risk youth who were juvenile delinquents. And she was a pillar in my church and the community. And I just want to say I am thankful that God put her in my life, and that I hope that one day I can strive to be the woman that she was. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jarvis. Commissioner White.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I'm going to take a second to toot my horn, I guess. One of the things I came up with as a commissioner serving on the Tourism Advisory Board was an event assistance program where we, if you want to put something together in this county to bring people into this county, we help you out financially through tourism to do that. And this past weekend at Martin Farm and Vineyard, they had their Peach Blossom Festival, which had over 1,000 people at it. 3 vendors that were there were Currituck County vendors, and I wasn't able to go, but my better half was, and she said it was they did a great job over there, had a great turnout, and I just want to encourage people to think about stuff like that. We're here for you. The whole point was to find a way to increase tourism in the county, put money back into hopefully the coffers of some of the businesses here, and increase sales tax while doing that. We want businesses to be successful in this county, and this is one way of helping to do that and get these events off the ground and hopefully get them self-sustaining at some point. So I just want to congratulate them. I know they put a lot of work into it and had a great turnout. That's it for me.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner White. I have nothing this evening. I'll go ahead and ask our Vice Chairman, Commissioner Beaumont.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Frequently, there are questions, comments that arise, and primarily centered on how the county or the board spends or elects to spend money. We're about to start entering that budget cycle, and they are open to the public. They're everyone is welcome to come and listen to what we're doing with their taxpayer dollars, and I would encourage you to do that. And if you follow along and there's something that you've got an issue with, or something that you think you have a different perspective, or something that we didn't consider, please feel free to let us know. But we benefit from active citizens, and so I would encourage all and any to come and see what we go through every year as we look at what to do with the precious funds that have been entrusted to us to spend. So that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Beaumont. And Commissioner McCord.
I'd like to give a shout out to Commissioner White for the assistance program. I worked and attended the event for the Sheriff's Department this weekend on Sunday, and I can attest there was over 1,000 people for sure, as well as I would be willing to say 80% of the people there were not Currituck County residents. We had a lot of people from Mayock. We even had people from the far south end of the county. I saw Commissioner White's wife there as well. But it was very busy. It was a very nice event. It was a beautiful day. I mean, that was a huge plus. Like he said, I mean, it's good that these events and that program helps assist those to bring people to Currituck. I talked to so many people while we were there, just giving out stickers to kids and stuff for the sheriff's office. There was a lot of people that, they had a really, really good time. And after COVID and everything, people want to be out doing stuff. So it's good that they're allowed to do that and are doing that. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, just the main thing, like I said, we're still having fires. I know Chairman Payman will bring that up sometimes, be careful out there on the roads. It's warming up. It's getting nicer. Traffic's going to pick up, and, obey the traffic laws out there. So that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner McCord. Next, we have our county manager attorney report.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. The next item is our administrative report. And tonight, we have the College of the Albemarle, which COA presentation to the Board of Commissioners by Dr. Jack Bagwell, the president of COA. We appreciate you coming this evening, sir, to enlighten us on what's going on with COA.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, thank you for having me. And I promise to be pithy in my comments. I have failed already with too many slides for you, but I'm going to go through them quickly. And we provided you with a handout so that you could take these and study this at your leisure. So I'm going to, I think I just clicked this to get this started. So what I want to do essentially is give you a brief state of the college, talk about a couple of things that we have going on, and then end with a bit of an ask of you. It's not a financial ask. It is a support ask, and I'll get to that. But we've got a lot of things going on, and I did want to take the opportunity first, before I did anything else, to thank you for the support that you continue to provide for the college, and especially with the new buildings that we have access to. It's been fantastic. We had a college visit us from another part of the state. They're thinking about building a public safety building and wanted to come, and they were blown away. So they left with a lot of great ideas, and we were over there into the evening last week. And I told my folks I wasn't working them nearly hard enough, because they got back to their campus about 1 o'clock in the morning after spending some time with us and spending some money in a local restaurant and that type of thing. So without further ado, let me jump into the slides. Just a really brief state of the college. I want you all to know that COA continues to be in a strong place. We are 61 years old, and we are continually, over the last few years, cited in some really encouraging ways nationally. So in the last couple of years, we've been the number 2 and the number 6 community college in the nation by some assessments. Again, there are a bunch of different ways to assess things and rank things and rate things, but certainly we are proud when we see that we are ranked on affordability and access, and we are in the top 10 in the nation. And we are also the number 1 nursing program in North Carolina, and have been a couple of times over the last few years. That includes Chapel Hill, that includes Duke, that includes ECU. That's not just community colleges. That's nursing programs in North Carolina, and we are extremely proud of that. And this year we were invited to compete for what's called the Aspen Prize in Community College Leadership. And that is sort of the Academy Awards of the community college system. So it is the end-all, be-all. It comes with $1 million prize. We are in the top 150. So out of 12 to 1,300 community colleges, we were invited to compete. We're not sure we'll make the next cut, but at least we're in this cut, and we are happy with that. But in a lot of ways, we are still at the beginning of our journey. We are maturing as a data institution, and some of these things are really data-based. The other thing I wanted to spend a little, before I move on from that, I wanted to remind you all, this is not COA in Elizabeth City or at Dare. This is COA. And you have a campus right here. So you have one of the top 10 community colleges in the nation and top 150 by another measure. So I hope you're proud of that. We're proud of that, and we're proud of the partnership that we have with you all to make that happen. I know Commissioner Jarvis has gone over some of this, so I'm going to slip through this very quickly and get to a couple of numbers for you. This is all about the economic impact that we have. All 58 community colleges had an economic impact analysis done. The numbers for the state are huge. You'll see those coming out over the next few weeks. And for local region, it's pretty big too. Just to keep some of these in mind for you, we have about 3,300 credit students a year that we serve. We serve an additional 5,000 continuing ed students. So total, we're a mid-sized college in North Carolina, a pretty small college when you just measure our credit head count. But 8,000 plus students a year come through some part of COA for training or retraining or additional training. And we're pretty proud of that too. The total impact annually is $105.3 million. 105.3, that's a big number. And that's in the 7-county service area that we are involved in. And if you look at this, again, flipping through this, and you've got a 2-page front and back handout of this, we have operations support of about $18 million. We support 526 jobs in the region on just our operations payments. And then if you look at the student impact spending and the alumni impact, you see some pretty big numbers and a number of jobs being supported. So one out of every 33 jobs in this region supported by the activities of College of the Albemarle. And if you want to talk about return on investment, student perspective, there's about a 26.1% return on every dollar that they spend. That's a pretty good return. If you're into stocks or financing, if I could get 26% on anything, I'm all in. And then taxpayers, not quite 26%, but 4.5% return. And then another number that I want to call your attention to quickly is the social perspective. $308.9 million. Now, I'm not an economist. I can't walk you through all the details of this methodology, but to suffice it to say that students who come out and have an opportunity to do something productive stay out of trouble. We want to make sure that we get them in the trades areas. I'm going to talk about trades here in just a couple of minutes. So those numbers are pretty impactful, and just wanted to fly through those. I know you've talked about those. I've given you a bit of the economic impact fact sheet for your information. If you are so inclined and have the time, we've got about a 100-page document we'll be glad to share with you if you want to dig into these numbers. But I do think that's important as y'all talk about jobs and economic impact, that you know that COA is supporting those efforts at every turn. So I want to turn the corner a little bit and talk about a particular area, and that is allied health and nursing. We have a great need, and we have, and you'll see on a future slide, and most of you have been in our new facility, we have nurse aid training that we brought to Currituck, and it's fantastic space, and that's one of the things that our college did not, the college that visited us did not come to look at, but they took more pictures of that area than almost anything to take back and sort of mimic that at their college. We have a great need for nurses, other folks in allied health, and to that end, we are looking to add a facility addition over in Elizabeth City, and we will bring additional nursing, that's RN, LPN, and other things that we want to bring to bear, and I'll talk about those in just a little bit. So look at these associate degree outlooks that you see here. Notice that median annual wage in 2020, $73,000. Nurses are doing okay today, and if you're a travel nurse, it's multiple times that. So there are a lot of needs. We talk to our partners in healthcare all the time, and we cannot produce enough nurses to meet their demand. But we are working on it, and we have a desire to increase that. I want you to also notice that this is from an economic impact. I haven't shared this with the Board of Trustees, so Selena has not seen this, Commissioner Jarvis. But notice that lifetime earnings increase per completer. Completing that degree is a $777,000 difference in the outcome of how much you're going to earn over your productive life. That's a pretty big increase in earnings. And we have an opportunity to have our alumni grow even more with this addition. So what we hope to do, what you see, that existing space is our Owen Center that we share with the YMCA on the main campus. That was built about 20 years ago for about 5 programs. We now have about 15 programs, and multiple times the number of students that was ever designed to serve. And what we hope to do is to be able to add on to that. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because obviously your healthcare providers are going to be served out of this facility as well. So we have some expansion of programs, associate degree nurses, 10 to 15 students. Practical nurses, 10 students. Now, that's about a 20% increase in those programs. So we're increasing the outcomes in all of those and looking at new programs, including dental assisting, physical therapy assistant, veterinary tech, massage therapy, some other things that we can stand up, stand down, move over here and offer them when we need to, move it to Dare if we need to, or move it to Edenton, Chowan if we need to. Now here locally, obviously you're all familiar with the fantastic facilities that you have provided us and that people are coming to visit us on. We have the aviation systems, computer-aided drafting, computer-integrated machining are all signature programs, if you will, and those are very technical programs. In fact, I'll tell you, the other day I was in Raleigh, and one of the economic development folks told me that they're fielding a lot of questions about aviation-related industries, and they point them to one place. That's up here because of COA, because of ECSU, and because of the partnerships that we have locally with the counties. So I think that's very encouraging. New offerings that we are going to bring to the table here. We're going to actually retrofit some of the existing spaces in the Regional Aviation and Technical Training Center because we have the classroom space that came on in the Public Safety Building. So obviously we have nurse aid, but we're adding the first year of HVAC, looking to do some certificates to add some additional training. And we are excited about that, and some of that work is going to continue. I told Chairman Payment before the meeting that we're looking to hire an additional faculty member to help serve this area, and we're excited about that. I mentioned the nurse aid area. Obviously, our emergency medical science is in the annex building up there, the support building, and it's going gangbusters. And I think that's been a tremendous add to our arsenal, and hopefully you're seeing the benefit of that already, in addition to having basic law enforcement and having those folks on this campus. So a lot of good things going on. I will tell you that a couple of other program changes that we're looking at. Aviation, we're trying to make that more flexible, have more cohorts come through. FAA is not the most flexible organization in the world, but even they are understanding that we need to do things a little differently. So you're going to see us do things as we can and as we have federal approval in a more flexible format to try to get more people, more students, more training opportunities, more economic development opportunities to the Currituck region. And then also we are working on some short-term construction with our partners at the school district and around to make sure that we are meeting the needs with the career and technical offerings here in Currituck County and through COA Currituck. So, 2 things that I want to leave you with. Hopefully this is pithy enough. I'm going fast, and certainly I will entertain any questions that you have. One thing is that we want you all to provide us opportunities. We don't expect you to be recruiters for us, but we want to share the opportunity in Currituck. We want everybody to come over to this campus to take advantage of it. We're trying to expand trades, career and technical programming here, and we need critical masses of folks. So if you have events, I was listening to the event, and there's something going on, let us know. We'll have a booth out there. We'll have people coming out to do recruitment, sharing the opportunities that exist here in Currituck, and just shoot me a note, and we'll make sure somebody's there. So we want everybody's help in that. Every presentation I do to whatever group, I'm saying share what I just shared with you. If you can't remember it, give them my number. I will talk to them in transit to make sure people understand what you all have allowed us to bring to the area. And the other thing I would ask of you is that I would like to provide a resolution for this board to consider in support of the health science facility that I just highlighted. We are trying to make sure that our legislators who have said that they would help us to identify some funds understand this is a regional need. We hope that the 6 counties, in addition to Pasquotank, that we serve, would support this not with money, but with a resolution to say we understand that nursing is a big need, allied health is a big need, simulation is a big need, and that we hope that you would support it in principle. And I'd be glad to share this with Ike as we go forward. I'll send him an email with some draft language, but if you can do that, that would be very helpful to us at the state level to make sure they understand that COA is a community college, but we're also a regional college. No other college serves 7 counties. One serves 4, a couple serve 2, one serves 3, we serve 7. So I'm going to end with that and take your questions and any other comments that you'd like me to make.
Well, first, let me, okay, no, okay, go ahead, Paul. No, okay, well, I was just going to say, yes, please, that resolution, I believe this board would be supportive of something like that. But I just want to say thank you. I'm excited. You know, I went through COA years ago. It's done good for me. I enjoyed it. I'd do it again. My wife did. My daughter did. And to see what's happening in Currituck, especially, again, I'm HVAC. That's near and dear to my heart because that's the business I own. But to see trades coming and getting close to us again is exciting. And I'm hoping that the schools, our local school system, through the CT program, I know they've talked about getting the students there information early to help with career paths, to make sure this goes home with them and they understand that the opportunities are there for them as well as in the public schools, but what COA has out there too to help make sure they just know what's there for them. So
Yes, sir.
that's my comments. And Paul, did you?
Did back in the day, have you been working or talking with VMask at all?
VMask.
Virginia Modeling and Simulation Center?
No.
I don't even know that they exist, but they had a medical cave that I think is along the lines of what you're talking.
Okay.
Reconfigurable,
Yes.
all plugged in. They had virtual, you had your medical team, but then there were characters all standing around that provided the background. So
Yes.
Anyway, I was a coin holder of VMask when they kicked off. So
Okay.
Anyway, it was might be worth looking at, because if they don't exist, it's because they learned some hard lessons, right? So anyway.
Good. I will follow up on that. I'm not familiar with that model, but that's very helpful.
And I just want to thank you for your leadership, especially the data mining that you've done, and help the community understand the importance of COA. And I just really appreciate your leadership, especially during COVID and how difficult that was. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Jarvis. I enjoy having you on my board, too, and thank you all for sharing her with us. She's been a fantastic board member and asked some wonderful questions and keeps me on task, which is no easy task.
Mike, weren't you on that board before, Selena?
No. I was going to, but I passed it off to Selena. Looked like she had more energy for that board, so it looks like she's still.
You've done a great job. Thank you.
Dr. Beck, I'd just like to say that you guys do, and I go to the COA every day because my office is there at the sheriff's office. But and I've gotten certificates. I think I've gotten 3 certificates this year already through COA from training that we've had to attend. The other thing is too, April 1st, there's an event at COA, which we're partnering with the schools as well as COA, and there's going to be all kinds of stuff there. That was in my commissioner's comment that I left off, but I'm glad he's here tonight. So there is an event for that. Like I said, they can call the college. There's a bunch of stuff going on. I know we have our K-9s and all kinds of other stuff, as well as there's EMS is doing a bunch of stuff as well on April 1st. And that's not an April Fool's Day joke neither.
No,
It's
that's
literally
not.
on April 1st.
We will have some event, and I will also share that with your manager here for distribution if you're interested. We're going to have a lot of students out there, a lot of visitors, and a lot of activities. So it'll be a fun time to come by and take a look at some of the activity going on. So thank you for that.
No problem. And like I said, the facilities too, like the different, obviously the public safety building's amazing. You know, and you'll see on social media people complain about, but numbers don't lie. They make their negative comments, you know, whatever. But like COA is awesome. I mean, you guys do great. And like I said, it's a huge asset to the county. The facilities are, you can compare them to anybody's. I mean, they're, and like I said, it's busy and it's getting busier. It's with the different programs. I know the nurses aid program. I mean, it's like I said, I see the kids come in every. I mean, it's and the EMS stuff up front. I mean, it's crazy how busy. It's just a constant flow. That parking lot's always full, which is a good thing. So, keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments.
And I would just say one to the citizens out there listening, COA has a great opportunity for you in this county here. If you haven't researched it, if you're looking for a career path, there are so many opportunities you can get started out there. Great facility, great instructors, but this is something for this county to be proud of and to get our students and anyone out there, even if you're out of school, it's an opportunity with what we have here, something close to go to and attend, and you'd be amazed what you get out of it. So
We save a lot of, I mean, like surrounding counties as well. We save a lot of money from some of the training that's brought here, not just with law enforcement, but with EMS of the different stuff of that guy had not happened to go to Raleigh or Greenville for the class. I mean, the dollar amount that the county saves is, I mean, it's crazy. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and certainly we have some ideas for the future to be more of a regional training center, and we hope those will come to fruition, and we'll be back to discuss some of those at a future date. But thank you for that, absolutely.
any other comments? Dr. Bagwell, thank you for coming out and everything you're doing with COA. We do appreciate that very
Thank you
much.
for the opportunity.
Thanks again. Okay, next on our agenda is new business. Item A, consideration of ordinance amendment to modify beach parking permit regulations and require an ATV permit to operate a UTV side-by-side on the Currituck County Offshore Road. And I believe county manager
Yes.
has this one, okay?
Mr. Chairman, during your recent retreat, the board determined that given the continued growth of motor vehicle traffic on the North Beach and the interaction of motor vehicle traffic with those that are recreating upon the beach and the safety risks, not to mention the loss of a quality experience on that beach, that there needed to be some modification to the county's several-year now program of requiring a beach parking permit from Memorial Day until Labor Day. So to get into that program of starting to attempt to reduce the number of persons driving or using the beach with a motor vehicle, this will be the first step toward next year we would expect to bring to the board for consideration a program that will actually require a beach access permit to actually bring a motor vehicle out onto the beach. To get there, we've determined from a staff level and recommend to you tonight as step one a modification of the beach parking permit program we've experienced the last 3 years. And as the board directed, the beach parking permit program will essentially be the same this year as it has been the last several summers, except that there will be a limit to the number of beach parking permits that will be issued. That will be 300, and you will adopt that in your fee schedule that you will adopt in the consent agenda. That that those 300 are for persons other than county residents or county property owners who will be able to come upon the North Beach and park their motor vehicle because the county would be recognizing their sticker that they currently utilize. They would be now utilizing for the convenience center access and their re-entry permit should a storm event occur. That will be recognized for the property owner and the county resident. But just as we've had the last few summers, No one should really see a difference in the beach parking permit program for those who are renting houses on the North Beach. We will still be working with property management companies, persons who have their properties in VRBO or otherwise rent on their own, the ability to get the same number of passes they've received last year per house in order to accommodate those persons who are renting and visiting in our North Beach. So going through the ordinance amendment that's necessary to facilitate this modifications of the program, I'll refer you to the ordinance that's in your agenda package. There are certain recitals which lay out the county's authority to enact this program, which is, first of all, the county's general authority to enact ordinances to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. Secondly, the authority under the general statutes for a county to, by ordinance, prohibit, regulate, or abate acts or conditions upon the state's ocean beaches and regulate, restrict, or prohibit placement, maintenance, location, or use of equipment, personal property upon the state's ocean beaches. Personal property, of course, being a motor vehicle. And then Currituck County, since 1985, has had authority from the General Assembly that allows for the county to, by ordinance, regulate, restrict, and prohibit the use of dune or beach buggies, jeeps, motorcycles, cars, trucks, or any other form of power-driven vehicle on the county's beaches. And then further, you are making certain findings relative to the amount of beach that has been attractive to persons who come to visit and want to recreate upon that, and the now public safety concern that actually has been going on for some time, again with the interaction of motor vehicles with the recreating public. And so then you go to page 2, line 5 is a change in the title of section 10-64, which is the section that speaks to the permit system. This actually is a user permit, so rather than just call it a permit, we add the term user and strike out what has been in place for a number of years, because this ordinance section first related to the issuance of all-terrain vehicle ordinances, to strike out county residents and property owners only, because this is now a more encompassing ordinance than just the all-terrain vehicle permits, which are only available to county residents and property owners. Continue on to subparagraph B, line 11 on page, well, actually, I'll refer you down to line 14 on page 2. There is now the addition of utility terrain vehicle or side-by-side vehicle as a vehicle that only county residents and county and property owners will be able to get a permit, like an ATV permit, to operate those vehicles in the designated area. That's the area north of the Currituck line to the Virginia state line. That's the only change there, but now it's making clear that UTVs or utility terrain vehicles are only going to be allowed with a permit that are issued to county residents or county property owners. Next change is the time frame for the applicability of the beach parking permit. The board wanted to expand the season because we're starting to see more and more persons in what we have traditionally called the shoulder season arrive and utilize our beach. So on line 20, we modify the Memorial Day to Labor Day time frame to the last Saturday in April to the first Saturday in October. We recognize going forward that might mean that the last Saturday in October falls on a date other than October 1st, which is this year, but we don't see it to be problematic, as it still will be a Saturday-to-Saturday permit, and of course we may have further modification as we refine this program in the coming year. The next change, you'll see throughout the ordinance amendment that we've added in the applicable places the term user or user parking permit, just again to show and designate that these indeed are user permits. So that then leads us down into line 38 of page 2, and this is a slight modification in order to recognize the convenience center decal as being an all-encompassing permit in essence. So it's requiring a county resident or county property owner to prominently display a county-issued and designated user parking permit, that is the decal that will be in their window, at all times when they are parking a motor vehicle within the designated area.
While you're on that subject, just to be clear, for anyone watching this, if you currently have an ATV or side-by-side that you use on the beach, you're still going to have to come in and go through the same process to get your permanent sticker on the vehicle to prove liability insurance.
That is correct. That ATV program that everybody has become accustomed to is not changing in any way. What the section I just spoke about is speaking to is the beach parking permit, the ability to park your motor vehicle on the beach. And again, for county residents and county property owners, it will be the decal that they utilize to access a convenience center, and which will also be their re-entry permit should we have a storm event.
So one of the things that I'm going to ask for you to clarify is you mentioned that there would be 300 permits
Yes.
per week,
Yes, that's correct.
not 300
That's right.
total.
There'll be 300 permits. Let me clarify that. There will be 300 permits available per week, and the way we're going to do that is changing this year as well. In the past few summers, persons seeking a beach parking permit would actually have to come to a visitor center, one of the county visitor centers, and interact with staff, filling out an application, providing proof of the car, motor vehicle on which the pass would be assigned. A lot of administrative work. With our very good IT director and folks that I have bragged upon repeatedly and continue to brag upon, they've put together an online program, a component that is going to allow for persons to go online to fill out an application form, to pay the $50 $50 fee. That will in essence get them a reservation ticket, will be produced for them, which they will then take to the visitor center in Corolla. They will present it to a person there at the visitor center who will already have prepared for them a parking permit in advance, and that ticket will be exchanged for the permit. The permits, we already had printed beach parking permits for the coming year, but we now have had stickers printed up so that the 300 for week one now will have a big number week one on it, basically, week 2, week 3, all the way through the end of the period in which the parking permits will be.
Are they going to change colors?
They're not changing colors. We didn't change colors, I don't believe. No, we're not changing colors. We're just putting a big number for the week.
So you know which week you're in.
So you know which week you're in.
So,
We
yeah,
did talk
week-
about different colors, but we didn't do that.
Go ahead.
The other question that, and I had mentioned this before during our discussions, and that's how are we also going to ensure, first of all, my recommendation would be going forward that there may be a color differential between those that are property owner residents in the Outer Banks. Going back to reentry, right? The concern is the way we need to be checking IDs and addresses before allowing people to go back, quote unquote, into Currituck County, lest everybody on the mainland go sightseeing, right? So
And we could still require that should there be a storm event.
that should absolutely be
In
required.
addition to
right?
that sticker, there also be the need to show a driver's license or utility bill, something tax showing
Correct.
the address. Yes.
But as a going forward, too late this year, I understand that, but maybe the solution to that is 2 different colors.
Yes.
Anyway.
How about the seasons pass? Is there going to be a?
No.
No, the board directed that there would just be one weekly pass, that we're not going to have a season pass or a 10-day pass any longer.
So we're just doing a weekly pass, and that so you, like your Dare County Jeep rental company can't come in and get a pass for their Jeeps anymore. That was never the intent. And
Seasonal
yeah.
pass for all the beach.
And talking about these weekly passes for if you have if you're Twitty or Brintley, if they're watching, I'm sure we'll be getting information then. But your renters that are coming in August can pre-book their date.
That's correct.
So it's an online software booking system, much like I use for my business, but you can just book ahead like you would a hotel room or anything else. It'll be there for you, and it counts down. They only go Saturday to Saturday, if you have a partial week rental, for instance, and you come in on a Wednesday, you can get one from Wednesday to the Saturday. But that's the nature of our turnovers are typically Saturday or the highest concentration of days. So we decided Saturday to Saturday would be the day they turn over on. And like you hit on a little bit with the utility vehicles, one of the concerns that I heard from residents was that the general public can now operate side-by-sides if they're street legal on our roads as a low-speed vehicle. And there was a very probably real concern that they would be coming up there causing harm to the environment. And so one of the aspects of this is that you still have to have that decal that can only be issued to county residents to get an ATV or UTV, licensure to be on the
But
beach.
even if they, just for example, because we've had this question so if I'm which I never would live north of the Mason-Dixon line, but say I did. I live in Ohio, and I come down here and I bring my UTV with my license plate on the back that says Ohio, second in flight or whatever, because we all know North Carolina's first. But and I come there with that, and I have my insurance, and I have all the stuff. If they don't have the pass that is required from somebody that lives in Corolla, or they're not going to be.
If they don't have an ATV pass.
Yeah, the ATV or UTV pass, whatever.
If they don't have that, then
It's treated totally separately.
It's completely.
Yeah.
They're not driving.
it's treated differently. Then that program is different than the beach parking permit program. But they will not be able to bring their UTV onto the county's beaches, much like today they cannot bring their ATV onto the county beaches.
Right. So.
We're getting that question a lot. That's why I was
Yeah,
just,
so that helps address that. Yeah, and yeah, at the ramp, basically, you don't have a permit, you can't come up here. It's that simple. That's and
That again is under that authority I mentioned that the General
like
Assembly is given.
we talked about the other
yes.
day.
right.
Okay.
Like, I just want to make sure I know people are watching this or will watch this that are in the 4-drive area. That was an overriding concern, and and the other thing is this will make it easier for you if you're a resident of the county. You no longer have to come into the county office to get a permit for your vehicle. You have your orange cling that you got from the county mailed to you in your tax bill, so you can use that to access the beach going forward.
But just to be clear, if you do want or need an ATV permit, you will still have to
still
go
have to
through
do
that
that, right,
application
right.
process.
That
as
process
you have
is
in the
separate and
yes.
apart. Right.
And I would like just to clarify, too, that this is just for parking. It's not for driving, correct?
This summer, that's correct.
And I think you hit on it briefly, but going forward, we would like to turn this into a beach permit. So you can't come on the beach without a permit, and we plan on involving the public, get a few people from the 4-drive area together to discuss what that looks like, so they have input on it, and we get their feedback, because if they have guests coming in from out of town, how do we deal with that? So there's other aspects of this that we're going to have to deal with and tackle through involving the people that are mostly affected by it.
That's correct. So now, other than the changes I have highlighted, the remainder of the amendments are again placing the term user or user beach parking permit or user parking permit in the applicable places throughout the remainder of the ordinance.
Now, is the part of that too the fine for the? Is that in there?
No,
That's separate.
that will be set forth in the fee schedule, and or probably I'll look to see if I need to bring to you at your next meeting any modification in the general condition statement or standard within our ordinance that sets out penalty provisions.
Penalties, because I know we ordered those, and there was a question if they would be here by April 30th. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be an issue. They'll be here by April 30th.
So again, the staff recommends your adoption of this ordinance. Now, as you understand, because you cannot have a unanimous vote, which is required to pass an ordinance at its first reading, you may still vote on this tonight. I think you ought to go ahead and do that, as it can then be adopted by a simple majority at your meeting on April 4th. Assuming its passage on April 4th, the online registration system for the beach parking permit will go live the morning of April the 5th.
So we have to have all 7 here to vote.
To pass it
To
tonight,
pass an
unanimous.
ordinance at
That's
its
passed unanimous
first
on the first
reading,
reading.
you must have unanimous vote, yes.
For implementation.
Next
Obviously, we don't have
week,
2
we
here,
just have
so-
a majority. So So any other questions on this, anybody? If not, ask the board for some action on this.
I'll move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
I just have an issue on one of the things.
Okay.
That's why I wish we
Fine.
could break. I mean, 95% of it I'm good with, but I just have an issue with one of the things is all.
Okay,
But it's
all
all lumped together.
So next, we'll put this on for next meeting.
Yes.
For the next meeting, and hopefully then it can pass by a majority.
Simple majority,
Simple
yes.
majority vote then. Okay, all right. The next item is item B, consideration of a grant agreement with Lower Currituck Volunteer Fire Department. And I don't know who, is that, you have that county manager?
I'll present that.
Okay.
Lower Currituck Volunteer Fire Department hosts our emergency medical service firefighter workers in their facility. They evidently have been having some difficulty with drainage in their building, and they have had water intrusion into the building, such that some areas, including the bunk room or bunk area in which our employees stay, has been damaged with water, and I understand perhaps the growth of mold. They've had to remove some of the wallboard and do some other things interior, and so they have asked for the county to provide them with a grant in the amount of $22,105.50 in order to do the drainage system repair or put it into place. My understanding is that they actually were going to make this request as part of their capital budget for the coming budget year, and so this might be looked upon as an advance funding, and certainly would not expect to fund this project in the next fiscal year. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right. If that's the case, I'll make a motion to approve a grant agreement for Lower Currituck Volunteer Fire Department.
I'll second it. I know it floods terrible
It
there.
does. A motion second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item, item C, consideration of resolution of the Board of Commissioners opposing modifications to the Workforce Development Program. And, I believe that's County Manager. You have that again?
Yes, this is a matter that was Commissioner Owen Etheridge asked to be put on. I think Commissioner Bob White did as well. We received information that the North Carolina Works Commission, which is the body within the North Carolina Department of Commerce that oversees local workforce development areas and boards, was conducting a study in which they were going to ultimately, it appears, make a recommendation that local workforce development areas, of which there are 20-some odd development areas within in the state, be reduced down to 8, and coincide with what are called prosperity zones throughout the state, which, as I'm reading and what I'm understanding, seems to be more of an economic development focus as opposed to improving development areas. As said in the resolution, improving the development areas workforce infrastructure and provide area job seekers and to employers. And so that's one of the concerns, is that now we're taking away the regional approach. For example, we are in the northeastern local workforce development area, comprised of our counties that we already are familiar with, that we work with through the Albemarle Commission, that we have the same or similar interest. And so this is similar, as I talked with Commissioner Owen Etheridge about, similar to other instances in which the state has taken regional partnerships and broken them up with the claim that they're going to operate and work better, and what we end up seeing is that it causes less service, more problematic delivery of service that does not ultimately benefit the people of northeastern North Carolina and certainly of Currituck County. And I use as an example, and again Commissioner Owen Etheridge and I talked about, was the merger of Albemarle Mental Health Agency a number of years ago with what now has become Trillium. And frankly, we have some issues with regard to how our citizens are given mental health assistance. And likewise with the Northeast Commission, which was the economic development arm for northeastern North Carolina. that was broken apart, and we were pulled into the Mideast Commission in New Bern. And I don't know that we really have much of any kind of ongoing relationship with that entity any longer. So this resolution is to express Currituck County's opposition to any modification in the local workforce development area, and that it will be sent then to the North Carolina Works Commission and to our legislative delegation and to other counties that are within the northeastern workforce development area.
I just want to point out that there's another concern, too, to highlight on page 29 of the agenda packet. It talks about how the allocation of resources would be based on population, and when you compare Currituck County's population with that of Pitt County, where Greenville is located, it would be detrimental to how our funds would be allocated based on just a comparison of populations anywhere in the Northeast, but compared to Pitt County, which I do not consider Northeast North Carolina.
No.
Okay, any further comments or questions?
Like I said, it's a good program. I don't want to see it be altered neither.
Okay, then can I get a motion from the board?
So
I'll move
moved.
to
Or Selena?
I'll go second it in a
Okay,
minute.
Selena, a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Kevin McCord, second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next item is the approval of the consent agenda. Have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion for adjourn?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. Everybody, thank you for a nice, quick, productive meeting.
Under.
Thank you, everyone.